Good afternoon, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. We have an amazing show today. You know, a lot of people have written into me and they said, Andy, you know, we want to know what's going on in the luxury real estate market. We want to know what's going on internationally throughout the world with the luxury real estate market. So I've been able to book probably the preeminent expert on luxury real estate today. His name is Jason Hayes. He is the founder and CEO of LuxuryPropertycom. You heard right. I've been able to book Mr. Jason Hayes from LuxuryPropertycom. Right now, he is headquartered in Dubai, and he services over 25 different markets. He is an expert and an award-winning luxury brokerage house. He's really incredible. He's a leader in the field. Jason, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Good Lord, what a fantastic introduction. I think we should possibly just stop there, leave everybody wanting some more, and that's it. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your very kind invite. Delighted to be with you. It's 7:30 in the evening here in Dubai. We are just about to enjoy the Eid celebrations here in the Emirates, and I know it's rather early where you are.
Jason, it's absolutely incredible to have you on the show. I know that you work with the most discerning of international clients. You provide them the opportunity to see and to purchase some of the most incredible exclusive homes in Dubai and around the globe. You know, you have a reputation as a trusted advisor to your very, very important client list. Let's pull the lens back to 30,000 feet and just tell us a little bit about LuxuryProperty.com and what you do.
I'm incredibly scared of heights, so let's not pull it back to 30,000 feet, but I'll tell you all about what we do. We are Dubai's luxury brokerage. We market the world's finest homes, and we enjoy an enviable reputation as being, you know, one of the best brokerage houses, not only in the Emirate but also globally. Our listings are extensive. 25 markets, over $10 billion worth of real estate listed across those markets. We've got a very, very competent brokerage team in Dubai. So our private client office is based here, and we concentrate on the digital space. So making sure that our homes reach the widest possible audience.
I love it, Jason. I love it so much. And we want to talk about the luxury market in general. But before we do, you've been able to assemble, Jason, one of the most remarkable teams at your company. When you look at the roster of the people that work with you, it's an incredible roster of people. And entrepreneurs sometimes watch the show and they try and figure out how you can, or how a fellow entrepreneur can successfully surround themselves with so much talent. How have you been able to do that, Jason? How have you been able to bring on some of the best talent in the luxury real estate field to work with you at your company?
I think it's culture, to be very honest with you. I think it's massively important to me that our single greatest asset is our team collectively. And I think the culture that we enjoy at LuxuryProperty.com is such that, we're probably a really great company to work for, firstly and foremost. We enjoy, an incredible sense of kinship with the guys that we work with. We've got a very flat management structure, and that sort of contributes towards everyone feeling as if they're genuinely part of a team with shared objectives. And I think very, very early in my career I learned to surround myself with people that are better than I am, and that way you're creating that sense of challenge, and you're creating that sense of and that adds value immensely to the business.
That makes all the sense in the world, Jason. Let's kind of bring the microscope in just a little bit and talk about Dubai, because obviously, you know, for people that haven't been there, we see it on television. It just looks remarkable. The luxury market looks incredible. So many cool architects and amazing builders are building in the Dubai area. How does the real estate market work in Dubai? How are you able to represent so many amazing, beautiful properties?
Dubai is probably right now the center of the universe. I think in terms of offering, it has everything for everybody. You know, we can go scuba diving in the morning and golfing in the afternoon. We can go horse racing the day after, and indeed go skiing in our indoor ski arena. I think most people think of Dubai in that framework. They think of Dubai as being glitz and glamour, but actually the fundamentals of Dubai are possibly more important. World-class healthcare, really, really excellent healthcare, wonderful education with, you know, the colleges and universities in Dubai being on a par with most North American or European schools and colleges. We've got incredible infrastructure here. So, you know, if I'm driving along the freeway, I've got 7, 8, 9 lines of freeway. I've got, you know, wonderful flowing traffic, speed cameras that very kindly photograph me and then send me the bill directly to my cell phone, such as the smart technology that we have over here. But more importantly, probably 2 things. One is we don't pay tax. Now, I'm allergic to tax. I actually, just mentioning the word brings me out in hives. But we don't pay tax. So we've got this incredible sort of fiscal structure here. And then I suppose more importantly than anything at all, it's probably one of the finest places in the world to bring up children and to enjoy family life. We have a 0 crime rate. Now that's probably something that's difficult to understand, but genuinely, I can't remember the last time I locked my Range Rover. I can't remember the last time I locked the house. If we don't have crime, and I think that's probably one of the big issues here. Around the developers, they are now catering to 220 different nationalities around the world. So we have a culture here of tolerance and acceptance, and we are a hotbed of international people from the 4 corners of the globe. So the architecture that you see, the residential dwellings that you see, they all have specific types of architectural and design merit, and they are, you know, very, very much the best of the best. And I'm very fortunate. You know, we have lived in the United States, in Los Angeles. We've lived in Europe. We've lived, you know, around the world, and I'm definitively never leaving this beautiful city of ours.
I love it, Jason. I mean, we need to do another interview just talking about living in Dubai. It's absolutely incredible. You know, you've been able to put together at your company, Jason, just a stellar private client advisory service. And you have strategic collaboration with developers and their architects. You create distinctive and unique marketing materials. Your positioning for prime real estate, houses and apartments is absolutely outstanding and really over the top for your clientele. Tell us how important it is, sort of from a marketing perspective, to make sure that you position and show the properties in the best manner possible.
Well, I mean, we're rather fortunate. We're number 1 on Google for luxury home-related searches across the world. And for us and our discerning clients, it's about creating a platform where they can search for the homes of their dreams in an easy-to-use way. So we have an in-house digital team that constantly build and add value. We have a UX specialist who's constantly analyzing how people are moving around the website and how they're actually interacting with us digitally. I think for our offering, it's very much about being light and intuitive and easy to use. Most people, by example, will simply scroll through the photographs and they that sort of nonsense. But I understand it's a very similar sort of approach. In terms of videography and 360-degree marketing, we're very heavily into video content. By 2025, 85% of the internet traffic will be video. Look, we're a reflection of that with this interview now, and all of our prime and super prime homes have the benefit of world-class videographers. A couple of our chaps who work for us are award-winning National Geographic and BBC award-winning videographers, and they are the team are the ones that present the offering in such a fantastic way. Our clients are discerning, lovely and wonderful, and difficult and awkward all at the same time, if I may be. Hopefully none of them are watching, if I may be honest. But in terms of what people are looking to do, quite simply, they're looking to search for real estate digitally, view homes completely before actually leaving the breakfast table. So in the comfort of their pajamas and over cups of coffee, they're able to find their dream home, be it in Dubai or London or New York or wherever it might be, and then shortlist digitally, and then of course there will always be that human interaction with real estate, and then they physically will view the shortlisted properties.
That makes all the sense in the world, Jason. Obviously, your company is known for the seamless customer experience that you provide your clients. Let's talk about the client sort of relationship, because some people might be watching the show and they might be saying to themselves, wow, I wonder if there's a different experience for someone that's looking for a 10 or a 20 or a $30 million or even higher sort of villa or compound or home versus someone that's looking for, a $300,000 or a $400,000 home. Are they different? The clients are obviously going to be different from a socioeconomic level, but from a psychology level and from the way in which they approach things, are they different?
Absolutely not. Each and every one of our clients are as important as each other. I have this saying: cut me and I will bleed, strike me and I will strike you back, but take away my good name and I will die. And for all of our team, the levels of private client advisory that we deliver have to be world class. They quite simply have to be. And we don't sell real estate. We actually sell dreams in many respects. So for somebody who's buying a home at $1 million US, that's their home that they're buying. And the emphasis on quality of professional advisory around that home is just as important as the client who's buying the home at $30 million. There's no difference to the way that the way that we go about what we do. And in many respects, that's a sort of culture thing as well that I spoke about earlier. We're very much driven by the positive impact of what we do with our clients, because a good word, as we all know, goes 10 times faster than a bad word, and the referral programs and things that we have are incredibly strong. And a lot of what we do is reputational based, and an awful lot of what we do, when a developer is coming to the city of Dubai and they're about to do a spectacular development of super prime residences, we tend to be they're first on the list of people to come and talk to, because of the enviable reputation that we hold for great service.
Well, that makes all the sense in the world. And for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, Jason is a perfect example, and his company is a perfect example of how you really focus and concentrate on your client, because a satisfied client really is the best asset that you have for a company. And the more satisfied clients you have, obviously the word gets out there and you're able to get so many referrals and testimonials. And from Jason's perspective, they do business with, clients that are, CEOs and founders of listed companies, global property funds, private companies, sovereign wealth funds, high net worth individuals, as well as many other types of people for all different types of luxury properties throughout the world. So, Jason, let me ask you a question, because it's very interesting. You do such a great job, with your client base, and you have your video and your photography is absolutely world class, the best in the world. Do you have clients that that call you and they don't even come and see the property? They just say, Jason, I want to buy this property. I want to buy it now. They close it before they even come and see the property?
We have sold some spectacular homes without the client physically arriving in the Emirate of Dubai. We are a prop tech company. Everything that you see with LuxuryPropertycom has been designed and built in-house by our digital teams. And simple things like Zoom viewings have been an enormous hit with clients that are coming in. And some people really genuinely are so incredibly busy, and they're so the advisory around buying the home is so wonderfully comprehensive around 10 Zoom viewings later, each viewing lasting in excess of an hour or whatever. They genuinely don't need to come into the city. So we do have a number of transactions that have been done, both super prime and prime, where the clients haven't come into the city, and they've arrived and they've been met by our team at the airport, and they've been whizzed through immigration, and they literally are going into their new home, and it's such a lovely experience, and part of our service offering, only the other day we had a member of the team going to pick up a Labrador that had been shipped from Montreal, and that dog was in quarantine, and then we took it out of quarantine, and we got it put into the property ready for the guys to arrive and take the dog for a walk, literally. But yeah, it's very much for us. It's we've seen how technology has positively impacted the sale of real estate.
That's incredible, Jason. Let's stay with Dubai just for a minute, because obviously, hearing you, one would think that there's a lot of cash buyers that buy properties with cash, or, not cash money, but they don't get a mortgage. They don't get financing. In Dubai, for someone that wants to move to Dubai, do the Dubai banks offer financing in case somebody wants to get a mortgage on a property?
Yeah, very much so. We've got an incredibly mature market here. We've got a plethora of banks that we work with who offer traditional third-party mortgage finance, and you can get maybe up to 70% or 75% loan to value. The cost of money here at the moment is very, very cheap, so maybe 2.89% per annum for cost of funds. And the process is very similar to what we would experience in the United States. You have an evaluator who comes out and values the property, and the property is held freehold as well. So you have freehold title to the property, just like we would in California.
I love it. It makes all the sense in the world, Jason. And this is how you've been able to build your business with really the private client advisory. You really are a real estate technology company, as well as being a great brokerage service, because you do such an amazing job on your website with beautiful videos and photos. And of course, Zoom showings have become a burgeoning part of the business through the pandemic. And I don't think that's going away anytime soon. So that's really, really awesome that you've been able to put that together. Now, when we think about listing a luxury property, Jason, let's take a look, just for example, for a property that someone calls you and says, hey, Jason, I heard about, what you're doing, and I'd love for you to represent me and my property to sell it. And you go out to the property, or one of your agents goes to the property. How do you value a property in Dubai? Are there appraisals, or is it more something that your agents sort of figure out based on recent sales in the area?
So we've got, Dubai has got the most incredible Dubai Land Department. I need to say that because we're regulated by them, but they are truly incredible. And they've got world-class data. They've got great statistical data around each and every transaction. And from there, we're able to produce comparables and genuine comparable evidence around the valuation methodology for the homes that we're listing. No two homes are the same, as I'm sure you will realize. And in Dubai, by example, if you've got a mansion that's got car parking for 10 cars, then that mansion might be worth a little bit less when compared to the mansion that's got car parking for 17 cars. And it's that minutiae of detail, of course, that, that these, that our private client advisors bring to the list. The large brokerage houses in the United States, you will see that, the transactional evidence around what has happened, inventory levels, and then that empirical sense of demand for homes of that nature. That will lead the listing process. If you're listing a home outside of Dubai, part of our prop tech offering is our e-commerce functionality. So, by example, if you're listing a home in Arizona, you quite simply would go to LuxuryPropertycom /advertise, and you would quite simply create an account on our e-commerce platform, upload your own photographs, upload your own description, upload your Google Map location, upload your own videography, and then you would swipe your credit card, and quite simply, it's all done by AI. Your advertisement would then go live, and with the lead sent directly to your inbox. So very, very clever technology behind it. Very simple. Sometimes the best ideas are genuinely the most simple ones. And we've adopted very much a pay-to-play sort of approach. So if you're selling a beautiful golf course home in Arizona and you're the listing agent for it, you can advertise it on LuxuryProperty.com, and you can actually, genuinely generate a phenomenal amount of digital leads from that advertisement, and at advertising rates that are very, very, very competitive at the moment, and we're seeing a significant uplift in that. We've gone to 25 markets. We're seeing that broaden and expand, and it's all been organic. Everything that we've done as we've built the business has been organic. So recognizing that if you're building a global brand, you're not going to do it overnight, and people can come in and spend literally billions and not achieve what we're achieving organically, which is by concentrating on the foundations, concentrating on the ease of use of the e-commerce functionality, the ease of use of the website, and then the excellent levels of private client advisory of our wider team.
That's amazing, Jason. And for the younger entrepreneurs watching the show, there's some real gems of gold that Jason just said. When you're building something out, you want to do it right. Google knows whether you're doing it right or doing it wrong. And if you have great content and great information and great videos and great photos, Google's algorithm knows that. And they know when people like what you're offering and when they don't like what you're offering. And in the case of LuxuryProperty.com, they've done it organically. And this is why it's such an amazing opportunity for people all over the world, or at least in the 25 markets that you serve, to also put their property up on LuxuryProperty.com, because you'll get, through organic traffic, a lot of people looking at your home. The leads come right to your inbox. It's absolutely amazing. Now, Jason, when we think about the luxury buyer, I'm thinking that they want more than just to buy a house. So, for example, they might say, I'm wondering if they say, Jason, I love the home. I'm buying this house. I have to live there. I have to have the 10-car garage. But I have to move everything. So who's going to handle the move, and who's going to handle everything else, and who's going to find me a dog sitter, and I need a chef, and I need a masseuse to come in. Are these things that you also offer as sort of a concierge service, or you must know people in the area that can help with all these things if you don't offer that directly?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, part of the advisory, part of the service that we offer is genuinely around somebody relocating to the Middle East for the first time. Somebody, it might be something as rudimentary as, by chance, do you know a good dentist, or where what sort of hospitals would you recommend? And so for us, it is that full service offering. So by example, we have preferred partners around moving and shipping. It's sometimes more fun than that. So I think one one of the most, most fun ones that I was doing. I had a client with a collection of private cars and these beautiful classic cars that he needed to be shipped from Geneva to Dubai. And it was just the most fun in the world, organising for all of these cars to be shipped. Some of our requests are a little bit more bizarre. The chap who wanted somewhere to park his submarine was the gentleman who wanted somewhere to who wanted a larger walk-in safe for his for his art collection and that sort of thing. But I think in many respects it's customer service and private client advisory is about actually anticipating the client's requirements before indeed the client realizes that he or she has that requirement. So if, by example, if somebody's coming to the city and they've got two or three children, in advance of them arriving, we would be giving them, all of the updated information on the schools that are available, and all of the information on the sports clubs, the rugby clubs, the cricket clubs, and heaven forbid if they're from America and they play baseball. I mean, we even have those in Dubai.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Well, speaking of baseball, and Jason, I know you only cut out a certain amount of time for me today, and I really appreciate it, you coming on the show. I wanted to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. And for those people that don't know, Jason used to be, I don't think he is anymore, was a rugby player. And obviously, there's so much to learn from sports that can transfer over to entrepreneurship. So when we think about your career as a rugby player, playing rugby, and you think about sort of the lessons that you learned as an athlete that transferred over to you becoming a CEO and an entrepreneur, maybe you could talk about the types of things that entrepreneurs get faced with that you learn from sports that helped you overcome adversity. Well,
I think first and foremost, if you play rugby, you very quickly learn that you have to take the rough with the smooth, and I think with sport and with all sport, it's about discipline in many respects, and it's also about winning and losing, and you can't always win, and you can we have. I have played in rugby matches that we should have won. I've played in rugby matches that we should have lost. I've tried to make sure that I win more than I lose, and I think I transfer that across to business as well. In many respects, the discipline that a athlete. Now, I played in the front row, so I wasn't an athlete, as you can see by the sides of me. But the discipline that an athlete or a sports person has is such that they've got to put in the hours of preparation, they've got to put in the hours of training, they've got to put in the nutrition and all that comes with that. In business, you've got to get your foundation stones right, and you've got to fully understand that as an entrepreneur, all bets are off. And what that basically means is it's 24/7. If you wanted to work 9 to 5, you really should have probably taken a salaried job somewhere. And I think, throughout my career, it's been very much a case of, the harder I work, the luckier I get. I think it was Greg Norman who said that. And I would probably say that with any sort of young entrepreneur that I meet, you sometimes can tell the ones that are going to make it by the look in their eye. You can tell the ones that are going to make it by just by the way that they are around their business. You can be talking to them about their business, and they know every single minutiae of detail. And for me, that probably means that I'm very, very heavily involved in every single aspect of the business. And as a business scales and grows and blossoms, which is what has happened with LuxuryProperty.com, it's very difficult for me as an entrepreneur to sometimes accept that. Sometimes you've got to go, gosh, the business doesn't need me anymore. It's there and it exists, and it's sort of it is expanding, exponentially as years go past. In terms of the guys who tend to be successful at sport, they also tend to be very successful in their chosen careers, and that's because they're driven, and it's because they set aims and objectives for themselves, because they're very, very structured about their day, probably because they're members of that 5 a.m. club, and they get more out of their day. I see people who equally, and it has to be said, I see people equally who portray, I'm not stopping unless there's a red light.
I love it. I love it so much, Jason. It makes all the sense in the world. Really fantastic. This has been really an incredible interview. It's just so interesting. I could talk to you about LuxuryProperty.com and what you've done organically for literally hours and hours, because there's so much just to learn about that. But I know you've got so many international clients that you're working with, so many wonderful properties in Dubai, and an amazing team that you're working with and that you've hired and that are working under the umbrella of LuxuryProperty.com. Really an incredible story. Congratulations on being an award-winning brokerage. It's absolutely incredible. And Jason, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on the Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today. You're a true delight.
Thank you so much for your time. And there is an open invitation to you to come to Dubai and come and spend some time with us here.